Baby, it's cold outside. I gotta go home. Baby, it's a blizzard out there. I cannot stay. Baby, it's cold outside. Y'all remember that song? Because I'm singing it because, baby, it's cold outside. So I'm doing my morning cup of coffee inside. Usually, I'm walking and strolling, doing my thing. So good morning, and Happy New Year for those who have not been greeted already. Hey, this year's going to be a blast. I'm here to tell you right now. We're all coming back outside. Oh, maybe around May and June, July, something like that. But not in a hurry to get out there because Omicron is out there. But baby, it's cold out there. So anyway, I just have one topic, and because it's been blowing up the internet, ripping apart social media, the only way black men can. But first, let me go back to yesterday when it was brought to my attention, this Antonio Brown story. Shout out to my cousin Antonio in an instant. Tino Lucian on Facebook and Instagram, Tino Lucian, Antonio Johnson. Look, and I also received a couple of tags from folks on the story. And so what I did earlier this morning, before I came on my cup of coffee, I decided to do a little research and see exactly what happened and hear some perspectives and trying to get some kind of make an assessment of what happened, because we're all speculating. And those of you who are watching the football game, you saw it live and direct what went on. And so I've just seen videos of it, and I've I listened to where the perspective a lot of people are coming from, and a lot of people saying he needs help, mental health, and he needs help, get help. Some people are, of course, coming from a perspective of, man, he's making all that money. Why is he doing this? They're coming from that perspective, which is always the go-to when it comes to black men. Man, these folks paying you all this. Why are you behaving this way? And so, all those perspectives were not a surprise to me, because that's the only way that seemed to be the main go-to perspective when it comes to black men in professional sports. I don't care if a black man has a bullet wound to his arm. Those folks paying you $40 million for 6 months. You better get out there and play with that bullet wound. This is how he treats them after they gives him opportunities to plays for Old Master's plantation. That's how we sound. And it wasn't until recently, in the last 5 or 6 years, that black men have been allowed to be human, in a sense of having actual brain and having emotions and, human attributes. So when they say he needs to get help, it's not in a caring way, but it's a very condescending, get help so you can go back out there and be a gladiator. That's how black men are treated. That's the way black men have always been treated when it comes to sports in this country. Not just by white people, because, for 250 years or 300 years, we were under the tutelage and the reprogramming of white people. I think they called it slavery. So the 150 years since we've been so-called freed from the plantation, there has never been a record of black people in this country ever going through a deprogramming process. Damn dumpsters out there. A deprogramming process or therapy. So a lot of times we subconsciously repeat the talking points of the white supremacists or the white people who raised us in this country. Did that make sense to anybody out there? And so let me go to something else. Add to this. There was a movie that Will Smith did that didn't get a lot of fanfare, but it got a lot of, corporate boos from the NFL. He did a movie called Concussion. And the movie, I went to see it, and I liked the message, but but Will Smith should not have starred in the movie. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Will, I love you, bro. But however, that was not the movie for you to star in. Maybe you should have, produced it with your Overbrook Entertainment. Maybe you should have executive produced it and possibly directed it. Now Denzel should have directed it. And let someone else, another more seasoned actor who could really pull off that African accent and who looks probably more African. But anyway, the movie was very important, so much so that they purposely buried it in the media, buried it at the box office. Because the NFL didn't want you to know about this thing called CTE. This thing that causes brain damage when based on collisions that NFL players go through when they're tackling, and it even goes so far as to high school and college. So by the time your kid gets to the NFL, small symptoms of CTE is already coming in. And so we see a lot of these weird behaviors from these athletes, particularly the football players. They're the ones who are doing, hitting each other across the head like rams do on a mountain in Australia and other parts where rams meet up and bam. Well, that's how football players hit each other. So CTE is a real thing. And but Antonio Brown is nothing new to us as relates to his off the field behavior. His personal life, he's been in with his girlfriends and stuff, and just in the news for just doing stuff like that. But he's a very talented football player, right? And I'm not one of those who does not try to look at the whole picture of what's going on with particularly black men. Because believe it or not, people still want to push this narrative of who's the most disrespected, least protected, the most disregarded group, and that is black boys and black men. The evidence is there. The research has been done. Shout out to Dr. Amos Wilson. Shout out to Dr. Naeem Akbar, Dr. Jawaza Kunjufu, Dr. Francis Cresswell Singh. Shout out to all of our African-centered researchers and scholars who told us this for decades. But we took that one sentence from 1960 or 1962 that Malcolm X, the black woman is the most. That's not the case. It hadn't been the case for the past 25 years, really. It's black boys. And so we tend to view black boys and black men through this lenses of the white supremacists with this high level of cognitive dissonance. And I don't give a damn if Antonio Brown walks off another NFL team. What's that got to do with you? Did y'all know that the rebellious slaves on the plantation were called all kinds of names and said there's something wrong with you, not just by the plantation owner, by other slaves? He must be crazy. Where he gonna go out there? He don't know where to go. We's got it good here. He disrespecting the hand that feeds him. And that's what you sound like in these recent comments being made about Antonio Brown. Now, you know what's going on with Antonio Brown? Guess who the best person can tell us what's going on with Antonio Brown? Antonio Brown. No, we don't have to agree with his behavior off the court, off the field. But we are going to have to start becoming more intelligent when it comes to our race. We don't read anymore. It's very evident because I can go on Fox Sports, because I'm not a sports dude. I pay attention to behavior, right? I'm a mental health guy, 25 years, master's level social worker. I've worked with substance abuse as well as mental health and those who've been diagnosed with what's called co-occurring disorders. You have a mental health mood disorder diagnosis as well as a substance dependence or substance abuse diagnosis together. So that's been my population. So in my mind, I look at everything, and I also read the scholars, what the scholars have taught us. But a lot of us don't because we're very multiculturalists. We're all American, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. But when it comes to black boys and black men, I'm not going to ignore the works of Dr. Jawaza Kunjufu and Dr. Naeem Akbar. I'm just not going to do it. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, like so many of us, have done. And they've done the work for us to really recognize what's going on with black boys and black men today. It's nothing new because, again, as I stated earlier, none of the traumas and the experience of slavery have ever been addressed. The deprogramming has never occurred. What we've done is go along to get along. So when we're still acting out based on the symptoms, well, and that can be said in a lot of cases, because you hear me say, hey, I'm tired of y'all talking about slavery all the time. Because some of this stuff we should have learned. And it's true. But when Antonio Brown, Harriet Tubman was called all kinds of crazy names. Did y'all know that? When she was trying to free some folks, the folks who were telling her, what you doing this for? I don't want to go this. You're going too far. Kunta Kinte, we've made that out of a joke. He tried several times to escape. And modern black people have made the Kunta Kinte effort, story, rebellion, a punchline. Because we've never been deprogrammed from the Caucasians' thinking as it relates to how they view us. A lot of us figure, well, if you can't beat them, marry them. If you can't beat them, produce children with them. If you can't beat them, join them. And that's what a lot of us have done as it relates to a strategy to survive in America or just under white supremacy. And I ain't throw that word around that much, but I try to use it in its proper context. Not in the context of black lesbians matter. No, there's a bunch of bullshit. I learned the original form, the original meaning of white supremacy back in the 90s when I was a young man. And the books are still here in case those of you who still want to learn. So Antonio Brown, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because what he didn't hurt anybody. He didn't. He just took his stuff off. He got frustrated for whatever reason. He said, "The hell with this." How many of you have walked off your job and said, "The hell with this"? And you made way less money than him. So that says a lot about him. We're more worried about, he threw away $1 million. You threw away $50,000. You left. And so it lets you know he's more of a man than you and I ever be. If we want to go there. He's not done it only once. He's done it a few times. F this job. Who's made that? Johnny Paycheck, country singer, had a song that says, "You can take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more." How come that only applies to those of us who make regular salaries, $40,000, $50,000? It also can apply to those who make $1 million out of one day. See, dignity and integrity doesn't decrease when your salary increases. Did y'all hear me? Dignity, self-respect, and integrity should not decrease because your salary increased. And I think that's what a lot of us have done. We think because someone makes $1 million a game, that he should just pull his pants down and hand them the Vaseline and let them go to work. Because you do it for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. He's a different kind of brother. And that's the way I see it. So all of the commentary about his money and what he makes, obviously he's made enough cash. He doesn't care. You're the peasant. You're the pauper. You're the regular person, not Antonio Brown. Do y'all remember Ricky Williams, who said, "Take this job and shove it, because I ain't working here no more," even though because he wanted to just go to a mountain and smoke weed. And people had a lot to say about that. But Ricky Williams is just fine. I didn't agree with him. Like, wow, really, bro? Drug addict? But he still has money. And then some people, now here's the next phase of it. He's going to be bankrupt. He's going to be broke in 2 years. See, you say that when you're a hater. He may not be broke in 2 years. See, let me tell y'all something about this cognitive dissonance and this fear that we have of being real men and real women on any level. Antonio Brown may have a mental health issue. But one thing he does not have is an integrity and a dignity issue. Because if something's not feeling right for him, he's like, well, fuck it. How many of you can say it? And so, I don't have anything harsh to say about Antonio Brown because I'm not emotionally invested in some goddamn sports. I couldn't care less. I'm invested in people. And when I see his behavior, who cares? The NFL is going to find a new N-word to replace him. Hell, in another week or so. Let me tell y'all something. The rest of y'all who worried about Tom Brady. Tom Brady brought him on and took a chance on him. I don't want to hear another Negro mention Tom Brady. You mean the same privileged honky that y'all pretended that y'all did not see on the news? The same news I watched, where he participated in Deflategate, purposefully deflating some of the air out of football so he can get a great grip so he can throw. But y'all care about what Antonio supposedly, or how he inconvenienced him? Are you kidding me? He's a liar. Tom Brady's a liar and a cheater. Antonio Brown's not a liar and a cheater. Isn't it interesting how we want to bring up where he had a fake vaccination card? He could have put his teammates at risk. But Aaron Rodgers lied to y'all. Y'all ain't talk about that but number 30 minutes. That mother, he lied to the white media and he lied to black folks. He lied to everybody who's a sports fan of football. I'm immunized. He lied, and y'all had nothing to say about it. If Fox Sports, ESPN, all your favorite sports networks had nothing to say about it. So that's why I can't take what you say about Antonio Brown seriously. You don't handle them white men the same way you try to handle the black players. Shout out to Kwame Brown. Shout out to Dr. Amos Wilson. Shout out to Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Shout out to Dr. Jawanzo Kunjufu. He's setting a bad example. He's setting a great example for telling black boys, you don't have to take this. I don't care if you make $1 or $1 million. You're still a man. And I think a lot of people are jealous of the way Antonio Brown has a particular freedom. He's right there in the top tier of the sport, and he's still needed. You know why people keep pulling him on their teams? Because he is a talented man in his field. Regardless of his antics or his behavior, that's why they keep doing it. How come I see this and I don't give a shit about sports, but I understand human behavior, and I understand white supremacy? See, they don't care about all of that crap. Can you run, nigga? Can you jump, nigga? Can you dunk, nigga? Can you catch a pass, nigga? That's all they care about. Now, if Antonio Brown breaks his ankle or dislocates his shoulder and can't play anymore, well, they'll just boot him to the side. He embarrassed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Tom Brady didn't embarrass the NFL when he lied on Deflategate. Y'all get yourselves together. Get off of Antonio Brown. What you should be doing is high-fiving him. Say, right on, man. If he don't feel great, whatever the reason is, he had his reason. And hopefully he'll get his personal life together. With his little girlfriends and all that foolishness. That's some other kind of poor behavior. It's another thing that y'all let slide. Well, we always focusing on when any black player does, black athlete. Oh, we go in harder than the NFL, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, whatever the crap. The white boy that beat the black chick to death, then she came back to life. What was that football player name? You only talked about that for 3 days. And you had to make mainstream media say anything about it. But Antonio Brown is all over the place. To those black analysts who are going along with this, y'all know better. Y'all know what's up. But I know y'all work on Master's Plantation. You want to keep your job. And so you say these disparaging things. Now, some of them have been pretty cool. I went through quite a few of those little blogs and those little sports shows this morning, just before I came on, just to hear the varying perspectives. But still, it came down to it. He embarrassed himself. He embarrassed the league. He inconvenienced Tom Brady. Fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. But none of you said that out loud. None of you came on, even those big sports networks, television shows, cable or regular television. They never said anything disparaging. And if they did, they were forced to do it. But it's funny, when Aaron Rodgers lied about it, they really had this much to say. But Kyrie Irving, who just simply exercised his rights as a citizen of this country under the Constitution, he's stupid. He's endangering his team. Y'all pay attention. Or y'all so busy wanting to see the Negro gladiators go at it that you don't see the humanity in black players, black male players. So I check out the humanity, and I'm going to see what's going on. And if there is some therapy that's needed, well, he'll do it. And I think that little pale, colorless little fucker Chris Broussard, he needs some deep therapy. Get out of here, man. What you need is some deep melanin, Chris Broussard. Get some color in your damn face. My God. That's what you need. And Chris, and we'll know, Antonio will talk about it. If not, guess what? People are saying, a lot of these commentators, this is the end of his NFL career. Who cares? He doesn't. He'll never be in the league again. Who cares? He doesn't. He derailed his chances to the Hall of Fame. If Tom Brady makes it to the Hall of Fame, if Aaron Rodgers makes it to the Hall of Fame, even if that white boy who beat the black chick to death, and he sat down to have dinner, and she happened to, like on TV, she said, woke up. He said, damn, you alive? If he makes it anywhere near the building of the Hall of Fame, STFU about Antonio Brown. He should be there as well. Y'all see how this stuff works? Think broadly. Put everybody out there. Don't allow them to tell you who to criticize and expose your cognitive dissonance towards. Not just the black players, because they coddle theirs. And let me go, while I'm talking about it, y'all know that black dude who just hit that car? Caused that accident? I guess he was drinking. Yeah, he was drinking, and it caused that car to explode. I don't know if it wasn't in Texas. And that's kind of quiet, but he was videoed on the side of the road crying and stuff, that young fella. He was fired immediately. Well, y'all keep in mind that there was a young white guy here in Texas who drove a lot of his friends, went into the Walmart. They stole a lot of beer. They had been drinking. He was like 16 or some shit. And then, in his drunk driving, and then after they ran out the Walmart with about 2 cases of beer, they ran into this car that was broken, this truck that was broken down on the road, killed a couple of people, and one of the boys who was on that car is now a vegetable. And he got off from prison with, dang it, I was about to say it. What's that word? Privilege. Dang it. They came up with something. Doggy, what was that little fucker's name? What was that? The lawyer came up with something, and the judge bought it. The jury bought it. Something that has something. It came up with some kind of diagnosis as it relates to this boy, who's now a grown man. He, damn, I know when y'all look at this, y'all will put it in the chat. Oh, crap. Oh, you know what? I'm going to look it up. But let's see. I'm going to look it up right now. Y'all give me a minute. I have to get this right. It says, kid gets free from drunk driving in Texas. I'm going to look it up. There's some of y'all in Texas. See, set free. What is it? Affluenza. There it is. Who killed 4? Let me read this to y'all. Ford killed 4 in drunk driving crash. Ethan Couch. Remember that. Let me see the football player's name really quickly. Let's say football player. Football player in Vegas. Yeah. In Vegas. There it is. Football player crashes. What's his name? In Las Vegas Raider, I think, Henry Ruggs III. Y'all keep this in mind now. He was going fast, 150 miles, they were saying. 150 miles per hour. Yeah, before he rear-ended another car. The same thing this guy did. Ethan Couch did the same thing. Now, y'all pay attention, see how he's going to be handled, as opposed to this little privileged white kid here out of Texas, one of the suburbs of Texas. Y'all pay attention. Okay? I'll try to give y'all an example of how this thing works, this cognitive dissonance, and how white privilege and white supremacy works. And so stop saying that rich black people have privilege. They don't, because their skin looks like mine and their nose and lips look like mine. That debunks their privilege of being rich. Okay? So, yeah, a woman died in a fiery crash. Yeah, it was terrible. And he was on the side of the road crying his eyes out. Just deep remorse. He couldn't help it, but let's see if he's going to get an affluenza. Going to be allowed, if affluenza is going to be used as his defense to get him off from going to jail. Even when that little bastard was given probation. He was not supposed to be around alcohol and all of this. His mom flew him out of the country to escape, I guess, conviction or what have you. And then they got them back out of Mexico and brought him back. He was still given like probation. I think he spent maybe a weekend or 2 weeks in jail just for leaving the country, not for the murdering of these people. And he was given probation when they got out to not be around anybody drinking. And then a video comes out of him playing beer pong with his friends. And I think Ethan is out chilling. So, y'all pay attention. All right? So, Antonio Brown, keep doing you, bro. If it's some mental health stuff you need, call me, man. Let's have a conversation. Rico the Opinionist. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Send me a message, bro. Let's talk. I'd like to know exactly what's going on. What's going on, point blank. Because everybody else seems to know what's going on. Yeah, the coach said, well, he's no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And it's not about no damn Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady, well, he gave a very even-keeled speech during a press conference. But, nah. If he didn't get put out for actually lying and cheating, if Aaron Rodgers didn't get kicked out for lying about being vaccinated, y'all please get off Antonio Brown. Stop calling him these names. You're not a therapist, nor have you ever worked in counseling, so STFU. And those who have, if you're a licensed professional counselor and you're commenting on this, be truthful. Don't try to get likes. Look at it from if you're an African-American counselor, licensed professional counselor, licensed clinical social worker, licensed master's level social worker who's worked and your concentration was mental health and working with people, let's do a truthful assessment. Don't try to do it for likes. Because my goal is to always tell the truth and look at it from a different perspective. Because I know what the perspective of the mainstream is. Go along and get along. He crazy, so everybody says he's crazy. He's messing up all that money, so everybody says he's messing up all that money. But for me, I look at it for what's really going on here. So shout out to Antonio Brown. And, I know somebody's got a very valuable T-shirt you threw out there. Someone's, and your jersey and stuff is out there. So he really probably fed a couple of folks, because who wouldn't want the T-shirt that Antonio Brown threw into the crowd as he made his exit? And he waved at everybody, said, "Oh, y'all be cool." He went on and reportedly asked a state trooper for a ride to the airport. But he didn't make a scene per se. I guess he's kind of moved on. So I need us to be a little smarter and start reading some of these books. If y'all need a copy of my black book list, let me know. Read some Dr. Claude Anderson. Read some Dr. Joanna Kunjufu. Read some Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Read some Dr. Joy Leary. Joy DeGruy. DeGruy. Dr. DeGruy. Joy DeGruy Leary, or Leary DeGruy. post-traumatic slave syndrome. Man, we need to read some books so we can become more intelligent in our assessment of each other. All right, I've sipped all of my morning coffee. I hope you've enjoyed yours. We'll talk again in the future. Shaman Rico, Happy New Year again. Peace, y'all.